What up, YouTube, man? Back again with another vid. This is gonna be my last, not my last one, but obviously the last second round preview because all the other series have started. But it is the 6-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the 7-seeded Golden State Warriors. Both the lower seeds won their respective matchups. The Wolves dispatching of the Lakers in 5, and then the Warriors winning a gritty defensive struggle of a series against the 2-seeded Houston Rockets. And honestly, based on what I've seen between these two teams in the regular season, it's like what I always like to do, talk about the regular season to see if there's anything we can glean and see if there's any trends that could be talked about in the postseason. But there's literally nothing we could talk about. The Warriors won these games, won the regular season series between them and the Wolves 3-1. But this is all pre-Jimmy Butler trade, and damn near all of them are pre when the Wolves actually became good. Like when I told y'all the Wolves became like one of the better teams in the league post the new year, and this was around the time where Ant and the double teams were kind of getting to him. And I remember a game or two was in December, which was like Minnesota's like worst month of the season. Steph had a couple 30 balls. Ant had a couple 30 balls. So both of those two are comfortable in this matchup, I would say. I know a lot of people are probably going to pick the Wolves, but I think this is going to be another long series because the Warriors present different challenges compared to the Lakers. I feel like the Wolves present similar problems to the Warriors. The only difference between them and Houston is Minnesota actually has a reliable offense, and they have Anthony Edwards. They have a true go-to guy, and they actually have dudes that can shoot. So that's why Houston probably is tougher comp. But unlike the Lakers, the Warriors, at least for the Wolves defensively, can present problems is their off-ball movement, and that's something a bit of a weakness for like Julius Randle, who, mind you, had his best playoff series in his career, beating turning the narrative of him being a poor playoff performer with that Lakers series. Not only was he scoring, taking advantage of mismatches, and creating good looks, and then playing great defensively is the thing I would like to say. But in this matchup, though, it's going to be a lot of off-ball movement, with the Warriors system, with Steph and his gravity and player movement and all that kind of motion offense, all that type of stuff. And Julius tends to struggle with like off-ball defense, so like there is a chance where it may not look the same and he could struggle defensively in this matchup. Another thing that a little tidbit I will add is the matchup we all been waiting for is Rudy versus Draymond. Jokes aside, I don't think there's going to be any chokeholds in this matchup, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in this matchup because Rudy in his last game against the Lakers had that incredible 2020 game, and obviously the Wolves are much bigger, and Steven Adams had an impact in that Rocket series and one of the reasons why they were able to extend it to 7 games. So the Wolves by default can also present these size issues to the Warriors, so Warriors gotta be physical, gain rebound, that type of stuff. On the flip side, it'll be interesting to see if the Warriors are able to play small ball, because Draymond is elite defensively, unlike the Lakers, where the Lakers had holes defensively and they didn't really have a center. While I feel like the Warriors technically can get away with that because of Draymond. And it'll be interesting to see how Rudy is played in this series, because prior to Game 5, Rudy, despite the fact he held up well defensively in the Lakers series, was pretty putrid outside of Game 5. And I feel like something similar could happen. Also, defensively, I feel like he could be actually had in the series if they do tend to play drop. As for who defends Steph, I would assume it'll be Jaden or Ant. I will say though, last year in the WCF, Ant did struggle with off-ball movement, and Kyrie kind of cooked him, at least defensively. When Ant was on defense, there were a couple times Ant was like ball watching, and Kyrie beat him a couple times cutting back door. It'll be interesting to see if the shooters like Jaden and if Julius keep hitting their shots like this. Nas Reed, I don't think hasn't missed a shot in the fourth or some stupid stat like that. I wonder if Nikhil will have a good series. Dante. On the flip side for the Warriors, it was a lot of Steph master classes, and then they had the Buddy Hield game. Interested to see if any of the others can have like better series as a whole because it was kind of hit or miss, and it was mostly Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond for the majority of that series. Steph kind of trickled off after game four, I think it was, or after game three. He was all right, but I feel like Jimmy needs to have a decent series as well. It'll be interesting to see who Jimmy defends in this matchup. You would assume it'd be Julius Randle. Maybe he gets some time on Ant. But a lot of things to think about in this series, man. Like I mentioned before, it's the size versus small ball type of stuff. And yeah, dude, man, I'm torn between who I want to pick in this series, dude. Cause like me as a Nuggets fan, I have the respect for the Wolves, but at the same time, I don't view the Warriors like the Lakers. And I feel like they can present Minnesota so many like different problems. Oh, this is tough. But overall, I think because of the fact that the Warriors went seven with the Rockets, and by default the Minnesota offense is better, and they're not gonna have those weak shooters. The best players such as Alfred Şengün and like Jalen Green or Fred VanVleet are a far cry from what Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards are offensively, and as a result of that, I trust Minnesota's offense more, and I think they're just as good or good enough defensively to keep the Warriors in check. So I think I got Wolves in 6, Wolves in 7, somewhere around there. Comment down below if you agree with me, disagree with me, and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Follow me at Danny Nuggets on TikTok, and as always, have a good one, guys. Peace.